Hello, and welcome to this themes video. It's going to be a two-part video because I thought there's a lot of information to put into one screencast, maybe too much, so I thought I'd split this into two. So this is a video on the themes, or the central themes in Of Mice and Men. Okay, so what is a theme? A theme is a recurrent idea which runs through an entire story, so you will see a theme and be able to trace it from the beginning, middle, and the end of a story. And I think there are 6 central themes in Of Mice and Men. I've been teaching it for many years, over 10 years, and there are so many different things you can talk about in terms of imagery and so on, but essentially there are 6 core themes which kind of interrelate. This, of course, isn't an exhaustive video. I always recommend that you use your initiative and your own thoughts and ideas, and that you don't just listen to what you hear and just regurgitate. And as I've put in other videos, you need to be a synthesizer and not a regurgitator. So take in ideas and then come up with your own version of the same thing or different ideas and put them together, but don't just copy what you've heard. You need to think for yourself, and that will always be the route to a good grade. So any contact, you need to just use the details below. Let's go. So 6 central themes in Of Mice and Men, and they are dreams, or the American dream, loneliness and companionship, nature and destruction, otherwise known as survival of the fit, prejudice, cycles, and fate and destiny. So let's take the first 3 of these central themes. Dreams. We know who this is. This is Curly's wife, and this is what she says. She says she could have been in the movies and had nice clothes, all of them nice clothes like they wear. And I could have sat in them big hotels and had pictures took of me because this guy says I was a natural. So what you have here is she really has a dream that's possibly beyond her means. She really doesn't seem to have the talent. There's no evidence that she could have achieved any of this, but she was happy to live that dream. And hence, and it's so ironic that this was why she was misjudged by the men, because she had this dream of looking good and being a star. So let's look in a bit more detail at the theme of dreams. So the dreams in the novel are essentially, the central dream is a dream of the ranch, George and Lenny's ranch, but it really is Steinbeck's way of addressing the American dream. And we know that America has this idea that anyone of any race, creed, or gender can go to America and work hard and be successful. But this concept isn't just peculiar to America. It's the kind of dream I live in London. We live in London. And in London, you certainly have people from all over England and Britain who come to London because it's the economic centre to try and make something of themselves. And there is this idea of going to, a certain place and reinventing yourself and really being a success. And I think that's what this theme is trying to explore. You have the title, Robert Burns, To a Mouse. The title, To a Mouse, links in. I've done a video about the title, and it's a central idea in terms of the effectiveness or the consequence of dreaming for humanity. Do all the marginal characters dream? And by marginal, I mean all the characters on the periphery of society. Do they all dream? Yes, I think they do. Based on the outcome of the dreaming in the novel, what is the conclusion? What can we draw as a reader from all these people who have these dreams and aspirations that they chase? What happens at the end? And secondly, it's worth thinking about what their lives must be like, that they have to pin so much of their energy and hopes on dreams. And as I've said before, teleology links in with the title, but that's from my other video if you want to know more about that. But I think the natural furthest extension of this idea of dreaming, and certainly if you're aiming to look for the A stars or the A's, or just do well in whatever assessment you're doing, it's important that you are aware of John Steinbeck's position in terms of how futile dreaming is. A second key theme, and that is loneliness and companionship. It's really loneliness, but the fact that they're lonely means that so many characters need a companion. They need someone by them to make them feel better, to make them have a sense of themselves. A great quotation is Slim. He looked through George and beyond him. There ain't many guys travel around together, he mused. I don't know why. Maybe everybody in the whole damn world is scared of each other. So if we look at this theme in a bit more detail, every marginal character is acutely lonely, even though they exist in a community. If you look especially at Crooks and Curly's wife, they're so desperately lonely. But these people all live on a ranch. There should be camaraderie. It should be fun. It should be great to travel and work and enjoy company like that. But these guys are lonely. And I think part of the reason they're lonely is because this is a human response to the socio-economic context. The fact that this is set during the Great Depression. People had no money. They are migrant workers. They are far from their families, far from the towns and cities they grow up in. They're traveling around looking for work at the lowest layer of the social hierarchy. So it's not a happy time, and these people are really feeling it. There are many examples in the novel. It's set in Soledad, which is Spanish for lonely. You have Candy's dog, that's Candy's companion. He needs that dog. George and Lenny travel around together. And you have the little story from Wit, who misses his friend Bill Tenner. That links in with the idea of masculinity as well, but certainly he demonstrates that he's a lonely character. Again, Steinbeck offers no solution. He doesn't say that, there's an answer to this. He just writes about how lonely these characters are. And one of the last themes that I'm going to do for this screencast is nature and destruction, which other people might call survival of the fit. And if you look, I have an image of a heron eating a water snake, which is one of the key symbols at the beginning of chapter 6. It says, a silent head and beak lanced down and plucked it out by the head, and the beak swallowed the little tail while its tail waved frantically. So this little water snake had no idea, and it had no defense from this heron who's just waiting to pounce. And if you've ever seen a heron in the wild, they can sit amazingly still. So you actually think they might be a statue or not moving, or not even able to move, but then they pounce. And there's something about that. There's something about that kind of sinister presence lurking in the background. The heron stood in the shallows, motionless and waiting. Another little water snake swam up the pool, turning its periscope head from side to side. That links in with the idea of cycles as well. And the idea, I think it's worth exploring. It's really worth thinking about what is a heron symbolic of and what is a water snake symbolic of. I don't have the answers. I have ideas. It's important that you explore them, because that kind of discussion is the kind of discussion that will get you a top mark. So let's look at the theme of nature and destruction. Throughout the novel, we're reminded of the destructive nature of life. It's cruel and unforgiving. It's just the way it is. Death. So many things die. Lenny, Curly's wife, puppies, mice, water snakes, Candy's dog, and metaphorically the dream. The dehumanization of various characters as animals. So Lenny gets called, he has paws, he sips of water, snorts like a horse. Curly's described as a terrier. And he's described as a sheep in the fight scene in chapter 3. There are so many examples of the humans being compared with animals, and I think again that links in with the title, and also again about the idea of futility. We believe we're beyond. As humans, we always believe we can evolve and affect our destiny, but really, I think Steinbeck is saying no. You're right down there with the animals. You can't really make any meaningful changes to your lives. Fate and destiny is too strong. Nature will beat you every time. The environment is personified throughout the novel. Survival of the fittest, we've talked about this one, and euthanasia. If you're not strong enough, there's no place for you in this novel. And we've seen that time and time again with Candy's dog, with Slim's pups that he drowns without little thought, really. I mean, he's a great character, but he just kills them because he can't afford to keep them. And Lenny. That's Slim yeehawing there. You can pause the video now and use some of this key vocabulary. If you're writing about mice and men, I think this kind of vocabulary is a kind of vocabulary that will help you to increase the sophistication of your expression and your writing. And these ideas are worth looking up. I won't go through them because that would be time consuming. But yeah, use that, pause the video, and I hope it's helpful. And last but not least, watch part 2. I hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe to my channel. Please give me a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know what you think.